Hello friends. Today we're going to be making this ring style right here that I attempted a couple of months ago, but I was pretty new to carving and so it didn't turn out as clean as I wanted, to the point where I didn't even list it in my shop. But I have a custom order from one of my regular customers and I'm going to attempt to make this style again for her. It's going to be with a white Ethiopian opal as opposed to this one that has a smoked Ethiopian opal. But aside from that, it's going to be the exact same design. So what we've got here are 2 layers of sheet metal that are cut and then layered and soldered on top of one another. And then I have this tool that I'm going to use a Sharpie to mark the little edges that I need to carve and then make a checkered pattern onto the top layer of the band. So what we're going to do are make those 2 band layers, solder them together, and carve them, and then the last step will be making a bezel and setting that onto the whole ring. So stay tuned. We're using sterling silver for this, which is quite soft, so that should make the carving experience pretty easy, although that means that there's not a lot of room for error. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so we have the carving done. We've got this checkered pattern finished. That was basically just going over the same lines over and over again, very gently to make the pattern, but not go so far into the silver that it breaks. So I'm glad that we got through this step. Now we've got the base of the band, so we're going to be soldering both of these together. Now in the past, I've used too much solder and it spills over onto the lines and then it gets rid of some of that pattern that we just made, so I'm going to try and be very careful and not allow that to happen. Let's see how that goes. All right, so we got the soldering process done, and now I'm going to be polishing it, sanding and polishing it down before I set the stone in the middle. And in most of my silversmith work, I will use what are called radial discs, that are these little silicone discs that sand down and polish the metal, except for I've realized when I've tried this design before that if I do that, it starts to muddy all of the lines I've created already in it. And so what I'm gonna do is use an actual sanding pad, and I have a whole set of a bunch of them in all different grits. And so I'll go down along the grits that I normally would do. So we do the hardest and then go all the way to softest and then finish it off with a very thin disc that will not affect the lines on the inside. But for this design, I'll start using these by hand. So I just am able to shave off that top layer without affecting any of the lines on the inside. And here is the final product. I am happy with how it turned out, and I hope my client is too.